After a very recent online transaction, I started to wonder, how small is the comic book community? Hey YouTube, it's Matt here. Now, on this video, I don't have any great news for you. I don't have words of wisdom. I just have a really fun story. I've told you before in this channel. This channel is about my journey through the comic book hobby. You know, different events that happen to me, scenarios, people I meet, comic books we collect, the way I go about collecting them, but sometimes it's just cool stories that happen, and I do have a cool story, okay? And I'm going to get to it, but it's going to be the Matt Woods way of getting to it, and I'm going to go around the world before I get to the main story here. Well, I have always wanted a Stan Lee signature. I remember one time, Wizard. You remember the magazine Wizard? I used to get that every month. I got it at the gas station. Loved reading it. Well, there was this exclusive. It was the Ultimate Spider-Man variant cover, Wizard exclusive that Stan Lee was going to sign. Well, guys, I bought that, okay? Because I said to the wife, I said, Stan Lee's not going to be around forever. And this was 2004, 2005 time frame. And I said, I'd really like to have a comic book signed by the Stan the Man. So I sent away and I got it. But then I ended up moving. And I realized I never got this comic book. So I actually went to the apartment or the house that I rented whenever I ordered it. And I went there because I had called Wizard. And I said, hey, I bought this comic book. Where's this thing at? Well, they said they shipped it. And so I'm like, well, I'll just go see who the new, tenants of that house are, and I'll knock on them. I still knew the landlords. They gave me permission. So I knocked on the door. They never saw it. They were super nice, but they never saw it. But anyhow, I ended up walking away, and I was like, I never ended up getting it. So I called Wizard again. Well, Wizard said the book was returned, and they had since resold it, okay? Well, and I did look. The money was redeposited into my account. I didn't know it at the time. But anyhow, that was my trying to get a Stan Lee signature. And then there was a lot of times I was like, one of these days I'm going to go to a show and I'm going to have a book signed by Stan the Man. Well, I never got to it, okay? So it's one of my comic book little regrets, if you will, that I never met Stan the Man Lee. What a great creator in this business. Well, so it's kind of always bothered me that I never had a Stan Lee signature. Just last week, I saw this ad on Instagram. I saw this book. It was a Todd McFarlane cover, and it had 3 signatures on it. One was Stan, one was Todd McFarlane, and honestly, I forget off the top of my head who the third signature was. And I said to myself, you know what? I should probably think about maybe getting that because I'd love to have a Stan Lee signature. Well, that was kind of just a fleeting thought in my head. I didn't reach out to Instagrams. I didn't give them a direct message. It was a thought that went through my head. But it was a really cool looking book, okay? Now, I ended up seeing, again on Instagram, a friend of mine, Master Blaster.
Jim Mint. Check him out. He's got a bunch of statues. He's rocking this shirt. So I text him or message him on Instagram. And I'm pretty convinced there's a 0.00001 chance that
Master Blaster and his wife, Madam Blaster, have this absolutely awesome YouTube channel. A lot of fun. It's a fast growing channel. A lot of people are talking about it all throughout the community. Definitely give Master and Madam Blaster comics, a watch. I'm going to put the link down below. But he put on there, hey, he sold his comic book through Instagrams. And I'm like, wait a second, I saw that comic book. It had a great Stan Lee signature on it. Well, and Todd McFarlane's kind of a little important guy anyhow. Well, Master Blaster has this really, I think, one of the most unique, cool goals I have ever heard of in comic book collecting. He loves Yellow Label books. In fact, every Yellow Label that I have in my collection, you can kind of blame Master Blaster for this, okay? At least I blame him, okay? You got that, Master Blaster? I'm looking at you. You're the reason for my addiction. His goal is to collect Amazing Spider-Man 1 to 100. Now, we're talking the original Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man titles that came out between 63 and whenever issue 100 was, okay? I'm sure the early 70s. He wants to get every single one of those books in a CGC slab, signed, certified by Stan the Man Lee. That is an incredible goal. Now, that's a bigger goal than what a lot of people think, because there aren't hundreds of copies and thousands of copies that are signed by Stan Lee. In fact, some of these books have very few signed copies even in existence. This is a monumental goal for him. Well, in order to fund his hobby, he's using his collection in order to fund it, okay? Well, I reached out, do you have any more Stan Lee? Well, years ago, he had another little run going on. He wanted to get all high grade signed Todd McFarlane. You know, Todd McFarlane, he did Amazing Spider-Man from 298 to, forgive me if it's 328 or 329, but he did it for, a couple years, and he had great art. It was a well-known run on Amazing Spider-Man with the art of Todd McFarlane. He ended up collecting all those, and he had some. Well, that was his goal years ago, and that was his prize goal, okay? Because he showed me pictures of it and where he hides it in his house, and awesome stuff. Well, he's starting to turn that run into his other goal. So he's using the hobby to fund itself. Really awesome. But the book that I ended up getting from Master Blaster by seeing an ad that he had put on a different website without telling me, which I don't know why he would tell me. We're good friends, but we don't know what we do on a day-to-day basis. But anyhow, it's just a coincidence that my good buddy is selling his book. There, he had this book, Todd McFarlane, okay? This is ASM 325. This is a great Red Skull cover on there, and you can see Stan the Man had signed this. This book was held by Stan Lee. I think that's pretty cool because Stan Lee is one of those people in comic books that everyone's heard of. Everyone has stories about. This is my little story. Stan the Man Lee ended up signing this. What makes this even better, this was a part of a prize collection from a good friend of mine, Master Blaster. So, guys, I really appreciate you. In fact, he sent some really cool stuff. I'm in the military. We're both in the Air Force. Different units. Never met in the Air Force. But anyhow, so he sent me some cool patches for uniform. I might actually wear one of those to work to see if anyone catches it. And I got some really cool Master Blaster Comics sticker, okay? I don't know, I think that might end up going up on my comic book drawers. So, that's my little long-winded story about how this comic book and Stan Lee signature came into my collection through a roundabout way, through a person I know in the community. Makes you wonder, just how big is this community? Guys, I hope you like this little bit of a rambling video. I hope you like the content of this channel. If you do, put a thumbs up and put a comment down below. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and you have a great day.